I am here with Shaahin, and you are the founder, CEO of many things that I've found since finding you. I've started by through the collagen and wanting to know more about your that side of things, but then discovered your podcast, Hack and Grow Rich, and Accelerated Intelligence. And I probably would say I want to jump right into what that is. Accelerated intelligence. Tell me what that is.
Yeah, sure. So I started off on the Amazon platform selling in 2009, roughly, maybe 2000, yeah, right around there. And when Jeff Bezos opened it up, I thought it was really interesting that he opened it up to third party sellers, allowing third party sellers to sell on Amazon. What most people don't know, and I can clarify this a little bit for your audience, is that when
Yeah.
you buy something on Amazon, you're not necessarily buying it from Amazon, which is something people don't know. Amazon has third party sellers like you and me and everybody else who sells on Amazon.
Hmm.
I know you might not be selling on Amazon right now, but anybody who wants to can sell mostly any product on the Amazon platform.
Huh.
So when you click buy now, you're buying from one of many sellers, unless it says for sale and shipped by Amazon. And most people
Oh,
don't know this because Amazon started off only shipping direct to the consumer and they wouldn't allow third party. So when Amazon opened this up, I was just getting ready to launch a product. And, we can go back a little bit. My background, I started off in the supplement space. So I
mm.
started off when I was, God, I don't know, 16 years old.
Oh,
I
wow.
invented this magical pill, smart drug, whatever you want to call it back in those days, called herbal ecstasy. And I basically went from literally sleeping on the beach, like just completely having absolutely zero, to by the time I had reached, I think it was my 18th birthday, we had done $1 billion in revenue from this, mainly this one product.
That's insane.
Uh, yeah, pretty cool. And it absolutely was an insane ride. And then subsequent to that, what happened was, I got out of that. And so fast forward to 2009, Bezos opens up the Amazon platform, and I have another product that I had started selling through our own channels and our website called Accelerol, which was a nootropic. I was really looking at that nootropic space. And for those of you guys who don't know what nootropics
Yeah, I don't
are,
know.
they are supplements that help promote brain function. And
Huh.
so if you've ever seen the film Limitless,
Yes.
which is really funny because Bradley Cooper, before his all his big fame and stuff, was at my house in Venice, and a
Oh,
super nice guy. And he was at my house, and it was really funny because we were having some of these conversations at that time, and then years later, when I came up with Accelerol, which is the supplement that we produce, Bezos opened up the platform. So I said, you know what? Like, no one's really selling supplements on Amazon, and
yeah.
people really weren't. And I said, let me give it a shot. So it was an expensive supplement. It was $100. I mean, it
Mm.
works really great. So we put it up on there. And I remember waking up the next morning to like hundreds, maybe close to 1,000 orders. And I
Wow.
was like, what? Right? Like,
Yeah.
this is nuts. What's going on? And I took a deeper dive into Amazon, and I realized that this is the game where the
Mm.
supplements, the nutrition space, the health and beauty is going to be played, because Bezos, being so brilliant, created a customer centric company where it's
Mm.
just easy. Right? I'm
Yeah.
sure. Do you buy anything on Amazon
I
yourself?
do. I mean, I became a Prime member, I don't know how many years ago, because I shop so much. And honestly, it's the easiest platform. It's simple. Anything in the world that you're pretty much looking for, you can find on there. I try to do comparison shopping, and even when I do that, it leads me back there. I mean, even down to like some designer items. I mean, you have to be a little careful, but even finding certain items like that, it's incredible. So, and now that you're saying it's third party sellers, that's kind of making more sense to me why it works and why
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And it's that ease of like, Dawn, like when you go on there and you're trying to buy, makeup or whatever it is that you're buying on there, it's just the ability to be able to click it and it arrives in 2 days. It's easy.
Exactly.
If it's
You
not,
don't worry. There's no like, is it going to arrive, or is it like, I mean, is it someone small that they're not shipping? I just had this discussion the other day with someone. I said, I love to support small businesses, but at the same time, it's a challenge when they just don't have the means to ship or get things out to you, and you're waiting 3 or 4 weeks. No one is used to that anymore. Everybody wants that quick access to things. And so even for small sellers, I mean, that this became, I feel like, a platform for them as well, because they could still sell their product there and
yeah.
still grow their business. So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's the magic of Bezos. People thought he was crazy. He was losing money for years. He had his desk set up on an old door from Home Depot and some cinder blocks. And that was his desk. And there was a spray painted sign in the back that said Amazon.
Yeah.
He cared about one thing, and that's becoming this customer centric company. And that's what it came. Two things. Well, one was cheap money. He had access to cheap money from Wall Street, which helped accelerate them. And then the second thing was he was like, let's become the most customer centric company in the world. We're going to lose money for a number of years, and that's fine because we're going to acquire the customer. And then, Dawn, you're going to be buying everything from me.
And it's a smart business person for sure. For sure. That's how you he thought long term rather than that short term, results. So which ended up giving him that. So that's amazing. Are you still selling those products on there, or have you moved into something different?
Yeah, no. So now my company, this brings me to your question, is what's Accelerated Intelligence? So Accelerated Intelligence is a company with several branches. So branch number one is we make our own products. So we make about 300 different products. They're branded. We make these health and beauty. You had asked me about collagen. So we make the leading brands of collagen called Collagen DNA. And we were early on in the collagen process. So I'm very familiar with that industry. But we also do home goods and health and beauty and cosmetics. We do everything across the line.
Wow.
Yeah. We've got one of the leading brands of this clay that you can use as a mask. It's fantastic, called Aztec clay.
I know that. Okay. Yeah.
A lot of influencers love that. We make a lot of these products that you've heard of and sell the top brands on Amazon. And then I have an agency where Fortune 50s, Fortune 500 startups, VCs bring us brands and companies, and we get them visibility on the Amazon platform. So we get them visibility and we get them accelerated. Right?
That makes sense for the brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's a struggle because, when you do create something new and you do have especially a beauty brand where there's so many out there on the market, finding your way through it and being seen on a site like Amazon is probably, difficult if you don't know the right methods.
Yeah, you're right.
And is that something that you direct businesses to and help them figure out?
Yeah, so we do two things. Thing number one is we direct businesses. So businesses come to us and we do the work for them. So brands often come to me, VCs come to me. They're like, we've got this product, we don't know how to sell it. Help us sell it on Amazon. Or we've been struggling on the Amazon platform and we need help selling on the Amazon platform. Please come and help us. And then, we'll take their product and we'll teach them how to speak the language of Amazon. Because what brands have found is that the way that they were marketing, it's what Seth Godin calls disruption marketing, no longer works with the current web ecosphere. So in the olden days, what they had is you're watching the Super Bowl, you're watching your favorite TV show, and boom, they come on, they disrupt you, right? With this message, hey, you need Heinz ketchup? You need Heinz ketchup? Do you need Heinz ketchup?
Yes.
So, disruption marketing. And at some point you're like, fuck, man, I need some Heinz. Give me some Heinz ketchup. Right? And that's their business model.
Exactly.
Well, now with Amazon, with e-commerce, with all these things that have happened, a smaller company could have a cute little ketchup that's organic. Maybe it's sugar-free. Maybe it's all these things, but they know how to tell a story. So in this example, you could have this big behemoth, Heinz, or I don't know who owns Heinz, but
Right. Any.
one of these big companies, just I'm using it as an example, up there, who's really pushing that kind of disruption marketing and those same kind of tactics on
Mm,
e-commerce, and it just doesn't translate because the person who goes on Amazon wants a different kind of story. They want reviews. They want social proof. Nobody believes these corporations anymore, right?
yeah.
We've all been lied to one too many times, right, Don? So
Absolutely.
yeah, nobody believes you anymore, big
So true.
mega corporation. But you know who I'm going to believe? I'm going to believe you, Don, because
Yes.
you look honest. You look like the girl next door. And if you loved, this product, I'm sure you wouldn't lie to me. And
Yeah.
so it's a different language. It's all about the social proof, the authority, the likability. There's a professor that I like to quote a lot. His name is Professor Caldini,
Mm,
and Cialdini wrote this book called Influence, and it's like the canon of how
mm,
you influence people to do anything. And he came up with these 5 pillars, and there's a sixth, which is reciprocity. And these pillars are social proof, authority, likability, scarcity. And these elements create this influence, but in
mm.
order to be able to utilize that, you have to be able to tell that story. And so we created I've got a Amazon course that some people can join, and if you want, for
Mm.
your listeners, I'm happy to share a link to a free 1 hour session if
Oh,
they
that would be amazing.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so now we've got our core business, which is making products and selling them on Amazon, which is what I do. That's how I make my living. That's my main
Perfect.
source of revenue. Secondly, we've got our agency where we take these brands and we help them create influence and tell
Mm,
that story so people understand it on e-commerce platforms. And then third, we've got this course where we teach people like you and me and everybody else how you can start a
mm.
Amazon business, create an Amazon brand for very little money, and have it create predictable recurring revenue month after month while you're sleeping. And so
That's the
that's
dream.
that's the dream, right?
That's the dream. Yeah, for sure. Do you see any, I don't know, is there any hesitance in anyone who says like, oh, it's sold on Amazon and like there's this picture of like how it looks on there versus it being, from like a small website of their own? Do you feel like there's any shopping hesitance in that way, or do you think people just love the convenience so much?
See, I can tell you already you're very intuitive with this. So that's one of the key elements of influence is consistency, right?
Mm,
No, people like to be held to what they say they believe. One element of consistency, right? If you're like, hey, I want a black blouse that's a size 5 medium cashmere and is under $20. And I say,
right,
hey, if I find you one that meets all those criteria, will you buy it? And
right.
I find you one that meets all those criteria, you naturally have a resistance
Yes,
to saying no because you want to be held to that consistency.
exactly.
All similarly, consumers like you and me want consistency with the companies that we go to. So that message, that story that we were using ketchup as an example, that story that you're telling has to be consistent across platforms. Those
Mm,
photos, that copy, that story that you're telling about why I should buy your product over the guy or the gal next door is going to be so crucial, and
mm.
making sure that it's the same across all platforms, right? So I don't go on Instagram and I'm like, oh, this looks kind of like you're saying it. This doesn't look right, right? This looks like
Right.
it's bad spelling. It doesn't look right. And then I go on Amazon, the pictures are different. There's like, it confuses people, and it's so easy on Amazon. Like you and I were discussing even before, it's so easy to just click over and buy something else.
Right,
Right?
right. I mean, it's the easiest thing to do. Yeah, yeah.
You're no longer beholden to these big brands. You're like,
Mhm.
let me try this little guy who he tells the story better. Let me
Yeah,
give that a shot, and he's a buck cheaper, and
right.
looks like I'm getting more. So
Exactly.
in this way, what's happened is this transformation over the last several years from power being in the hands of these big companies,
Mm,
to it shifting now to anybody can start a brand and legitimately compete if you know the tactics and the strategy to use.
the right methods. Yeah. Because I think that's the biggest challenges that a lot of brands have is just, especially in this digital atmosphere. I see it a lot. It's hard because they are competing with the bigger guys, and maybe they're competing with the small people, but the small ones that are very creative and are on TikTok and are on these other platforms showing off their products that way. And yet, still finding them on Amazon. I think that's the struggle for most brands, is like, how do I fit in? How do I show my brand? But then how do I also stay authentic? But then how do I also have the right pricing? Like, there's just so many things that need to be answered in order to sell your product and get the exposure that you're looking for.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Um,
And the most important thing is being able to tell that story. Right.
Yeah, it makes sense what you're saying. Yeah. Is that answering that question, how do I tell my story, can probably answer a lot of other questions for brands if they ask themselves that. Yeah. It seems like I mean, by all of the different things that you have going on, have been able to figure out that element, and that key is to how to tell a story. Have you seen that by doing that? Is that, I guess that could lead us into some of the brands that you have, like the Collagen. I mean, I feel like that seems like such a small part now after hearing so much about what you do. But would you say those type of supplements, like the matcha and the collagen, grew big because of the popularity around them, or just from telling a story on Amazon?
So there's a couple different ways. So I think what you're asking is what propels companies to the top.
Yeah,
So there has to be, if you look, if you want to sell a product on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, my wife
yeah.
has she sells all kinds of really pretty things on Etsy, and she does jewelry, and she does
Oh yeah.
greeting cards, and she's um, a publicist as well, but
Oh.
she was a big New York publicist. She had a big firm in New York, and then we moved to LA, and we had our son. And so she was at home thinking like, man, I'd love to do something. And
Yeah.
she likes buying these like, pretty things, very girly things.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's like, you know what? Like, let me start a company. And she started a company. And, last year alone, I think she's done over 1 million in sales on between Etsy and
That's,
Amazon.
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
incredible.
unbelievable. So
That's it. It's interesting, the Etsy comparison, because that came to my mind, and how Etsy, and I don't know if it's the same as Amazon, but it feels similar only in the fact that they've created the story around it being, Etsy is like a space for smaller brands. Although I've noticed that there's a lot more, bigger brands selling on there, but they have the image of being smaller.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the challenges I think that a lot of our sellers are having, because we teach in our course an algorithm that anybody can do with very little money, and how you find a product, right? So our whole thing, and to your last comment about how we figured it out,
Mm.
we figured out that you can't figure it out. We figured out, right? And so what we figured out is that the way that you win is that you follow an algorithm, you follow a
Mm.
system, and you just do what that system says. And it's like, Dawn, like every day I get on calls with my students, and they're like, Shaheen, I want to do gold rim glass because they're so cool and they're in, and
Right.
so-and-so's wearing them. And I'm like, no, it doesn't matter if you like it. What
Yeah.
matters, because you're not your customer. What
Mm.
matters is what the market wants. We're going to find what the market wants, and you're going to tell a better story, and we're going to sell that into the market. And you can offer better value, you can offer authority, which means you bring somebody who's an authority. So like, if you're in the supplement space, you find an expert, a doctor, a personal fitness expert, a mini celebrity to come in and say, this is the best whatever pill. But you
Wow.
bring value in that way, you're going to sell it. I don't care
Mm.
if it's something that you like or not. If you like it, great, it's a bonus. But
Right.
we follow these systems. You follow the system, the algorithm. We follow the system of influence, Cialdini's influence, those elements to create a buzz around these products. The second way to propel a product is by having an influencer. So,
Mm.
right, obviously the biggest example of that would be Kim Kardashian.
Right.
You get Kim Kardashian backing your product, you're already in the millions. And
Yeah.
I would say maybe a better example would be Oprah.
Mm, the books, and I mean, she's everything she touches is it sells
The
sells out.
the ultimate
Mm,
influencer is Oprah, right? She's OG. She's like,
yeah, for real, she really is. It's like
yeah.
she started it.
Let me do this. I'm gonna share my screen with you, and I can do if I have your permission to do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
I love this. I think this is so incredible. And it's like you're giving us all an insider view of like behind what happens that no one really knows about. And I think for brands to see this is incredible. So
oh, I love that. So this is
thank you.
one of many tools that we use for spying on sales on Amazon. So
Wow.
you had asked me about collagen. We're looking
Yes.
at collagen brands, and we have a collagen brand that I told you about. It's called Collagen DNA. Anybody can look it up, and it's on there. But I'm not going to talk too much about that. But I
Okay.
want to kind of share with you, the market for collagen, so you can kind of take a look at what kind of money these companies are making. And I will share this with you. Collagen has had its best day. There was a time where collagen was the new hot thing and
Yeah.
everybody was taking it.
Mm.
Do you want to explain for your viewers what collagen is, or do you want me to do that? It's up.
You can do it. I mean, I've now it's kind of one of those buzzwords, I think, and like you said, I think it's had its day, and I think women are continually looking for an answer to staying youthful and keeping their skin and hair and nails, and especially with social media right now, um, you know, there's this underlying beauty influence of having that long, gorgeous, flowing hair and beautiful. I mean, nails are everybody's, doing having their nails done in different designs. And so I think the search happened when it's like, how do I get that? And collagen, maybe now after talking to you, seems like it was the buzzword that was inserted to say, this is how you get that. This is how you maybe in from an inside way rather than topical get this in your body and you'll have that hair, you'll have that skin, you'll have those nails. And so that's what I've seen, and my search was to find out, you know how I don't want to say how truthful is that, or what brands are actually doing that, what are really fulfilling those needs for people, and are great products, but then also seeing results, which is still up in the air a little bit, I'd say.
Yeah. So we can, probably give a brief description. So
Yeah, yeah.
your ancestors, my ancestors, when they ate, their diet was very different from ours. They ate nose to tail. There was no
Mhm.
part of the animal that went untouched. Now, many parts of these animals, of all animals, have this protein called collagen, which is great for your skin and your nails and just good for general vitality. Now, eating an animal from nose to tail, that means everything, the liver, the heart, the spleen, all that stuff. Um, a lot of people discover changes your life because there's some ancestral cue that's triggered when we eat that, because our ancestors ate all that. Now we go to Whole Foods and we get a beautiful piece of filet and
Right.
just grill it right, a little bit of butter sauce, fantastic, right? And
Right. Right.
that's how we eat. We eat the
Exactly.
grilled white chicken breast.
Right.
So those foods are great. They've got protein, but they're lacking to a great
Mhm.
degree in these nutrients that come from eating nose to tail.
Hmm.
Collagen is made from the skin, the hides. It can also be made from hooves and bone. And
Right.
in fish, there's fish and marine collagen. So fish collagen is made from the scales of fish. Marine collagen is made from I think it's made from coral. It's
Mm.
a type of coral that has collagen, I believe, right? So we make a fish collagen, we make a marine collagen, we make a bovine collagen. Okay.
Got it.
So the idea is that these things will improve your skin and your hair. And by the way, just for the record, I'm not making any claims on
No, that's
collagen or any kind of collagen
exactly.
at all, but I can give you kind of just like a general guideline. I'm not a doctor or nutritionist, or I'm the least qualified person to
Right.
talk about this stuff. So please, if you guys are taking anything, consult with a doctor, somebody who has MD after their name, and have them tell you what's
Exactly.
right for you. But what I can say is that these things don't necessarily, like, it's not like you make a drink of collagen, you drink it tomorrow, you're like, oh my God, my skin
Yeah.
is amazing. All my, like, right, all my zits are gone and I'm like
Right.
glowing. What it is that having these foods that are high in these proteins, I believe triggers this ancestral reaction. It's like what
Mm.
Dr. Saladino, who wrote the Carnivore Code, calls the remembering. There's something in our body that just feels great when we have these things. Now, if you're like my wife, or a lot of people I know, they can't eat these
Mm.
organ meats. They can't eat liver. She won't go 50 feet of liver. I like it, but she doesn't eat it. My kid doesn't eat it. So
Right.
how do you get these nutrients? Well, these kinds of supplements are great for getting that. And by triggering that kind of ancestral reaction in the body, triggering all these things that stimulate the organs, your circadian rhythm, which is
Yes.
something that happens when you sleep at the right times, when it's dark, and you get exercise at the right times and you eat at the right times. What happens is that your skin naturally starts to look better because you're living a
Mm.
better life, right? You're
Yeah.
getting closer to the way that our ancestors lived. So it's my belief, just my personal belief, that that's how these things work. So when people look at collagen, they're like, oh, that's just BS. It doesn't work. People are just trying to sell you supplements. So they're right and they're wrong. They're
Right.
right in that, okay, yeah, probably having a collagen smoothie or a collagen coffee or like any of these things isn't going to make a marked difference on you. Where they're wrong is that starting to take care of yourself, starting to eat right, starting to eat more like your ancestors, or at least finding a hack like having a supplement will change your life in the long run. It's a long-term play done.
Mm.
So with that said, let's take a look at and I'm not talking about any company, I'm not disparaging
No, no.
of any companies, but I'll
I'm happy you just said that too about the long term, because I think that is a very, very important thing for anyone to know. That is how it works, and that is how our bodies work, and that is when you will see the actual results of anything that you're
Mm,
doing, is if you put the time and effort into your body for the long term. So I'm glad you said that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
yeah, yeah, I'd love to see,
So okay.
understand this better.
Yeah, I could show you this a little bit quicker. So this is just
Yeah.
sales on Amazon in the last 30 days. So we'll look at just in the last 30 days alone, the keyword collagen has
Hmm.
brought in, let's say close to 17 million bucks if we want to round up a little high.
Right.
So $17 million in the last month on just the top. So I think this is probably the top 100 collagens. And a lot of these are duplicates. So
Hmm.
this company here, Sports Research, very popular brand, is doing about $2.7 million a month,
Wild.
selling over 100,000 bottles a month of just this one collagen product. Bovine collagen is the most popular because bodybuilders and athletes take it as
Right.
well because it actually has protein in it, so you can have it instead of your protein shake.
Mm.
Um, and
Mm.
it's a little bit less. You look at the packaging; it's a little less feminine. This is obviously geared
Right.
towards
Yeah.
males.
Mm,
The more feminine one would be this company,
yes.
Vital Proteins, which you've seen everywhere.
Oh
And
yeah. And so many influencers are part of this brand that
yeah,
I
and I'm not
know.
going to talk too much about them, but you can see
No, no.
they're
Yeah.
doing another 2 million bucks a month. These
Incredible.
guys down the line are doing 2 million a month. So these are, some of these down here are like startup companies. Uh,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, that came out of nowhere. And look,
It's
they're doing
amazing.
700,000 a month, $1 million a month.
Right.
These are the kinds of numbers that are possible on Amazon, on the
It's
Amazon platform, you
That's
know?
amazing. Is
Uh,
this something that everyone or that someone would have access to, or is it like a platform that you have that they when someone works with you, you have access to
yeah,
it?
no, you have to use a third party software to
Okay,
be
I
able to
got you.
do it. Yeah, or we have one that we offer to our students.
Yeah.
But
And
so
I guess that's something that when people work with you, they have the ability to see this through you.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
Cool.
That's right. And so this is
This is
yeah,
your
but you don't necessarily need us, but yeah, you can.
right.
That's one way to do it. But so this is our brand, Collagen DNA. It's one of
Okay.
the highest rated ones, highest reviewed ones. And like I said, it's comparable with a lot of the other ones, we feel that you get a little bit more for your money. We triple test all our products for heavy metals. We do lead
Mm,
testing. We do, make sure that, it's not coming from China, and
yes.
the
Yeah.
cows are grass fed, and, all that stuff, we're always looking at and making sure that those things are done right. So, just to show you this, but in
Yeah.
general, you're buying, I like to buy smaller brands. Actually, I like to buy
Mm,
smaller brands that, usually have a physician like we do,
you
that
do.
looks after. Yeah, we've got a board certified physician that looks, into all our products, all our
Mm.
formulations. And it's kind of one of the things that sets us apart.
And
um,
you have so much information I see too, which is,
yeah.
I know when I'm shopping on Amazon, that's always what I'm looking for too, is like the details and like, give me, obviously the reviews are always important, but then also all that information that you have about the brand, that's always big, is that's like, explain it to me, tell me about it, as a consumer, and I think a lot of people feel this way, we're looking for more information than ever before. Maybe because it's more accessible, but we're really looking for that too. And like you said, it's a click away to just go to the next person, the next brand that does have a little bit more information or does have the reviews, that does have the 4 stars, and say, okay, I'm going to try this one because, it gives me a little more information and it has the stars and it has the reviews. So it's a lot of criteria that I think everyone's looking for now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Do you ever
Yeah.
feel like you have too much information? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why I started to do more of these interviews and videos, is because I myself felt like overwhelmed by so much information and thought, you know what, if I was to talk to the owner of brands and hear it from them directly, first of all, I don't want to say get sold, but I do get sold a lot better when I hear from a face of a brand. When I sit down and I listen to a podcast and I can't tell you how many podcasts I've listened to, and a brand owner is on there and I immediately click off and buy their product because I'm like, wow, they just talked about those probiotics and it sounds incredible. You know, without even really doing my research, they just made it easy for me because I was listening to them. I heard it. They explained it in very simple terms. I felt good about it. They made me feel they were likable and comfortable, and I bought their product. So I think there's a little bit going in that direction too, is that, hearing from the brands, rather than having to read pages and pages of information, is very helpful.
Yeah, totally. And, and in general, we like to buy things from people who we like.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And
I,
I'm sure if you're like, like me, I often, even if I need something or, want to go somewhere, if I don't like the people there, probably won't be buying there.
no,
Right.
it's, yeah, that's how I mean, it is, it's this feeling. And you need both, because obviously listening to an owner of a brand, you're going to say, well, of course they like their product, of course they're selling their product, they're going to talk highly of their product.
Yeah.
But if you have then the backing, like the influencer behind it, who maybe is someone that you follow and you put in high regard for their opinion, and then you also see, a few of the reviews that say it's good, now you have everything lined up and you're like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
That's what I find for me I need, and I think a lot more people that I talk to feel the same way. I notice on my social media I come across that a lot, and I don't have a big following, but um, I am really critical about everything I use, and all the products that really do work for me. And so when I talk about them on my stories or feature them somewhere, friends, family, and whoever else is following, they're very quick to go and purchase it because they know that there's a very small chance that they're not going to like it, that it will do what it says, or that it does work, or whatever it might be. So
Yeah. You're the
um,
ultimate form of social proof because you're
right,
social
right,
and
exactly.
your authority at the same
Yeah,
time.
and exactly. Yeah. So I mean, this is just this whole chat has been incredible and so informative. I feel like there's a world of more information probably that we can go into detail with. I want you to just touch a little bit on your podcast because I think that's interesting too. And then we can finish up.
Sure. Yeah, totally. So we've got two different podcasts going right now. So one is called Billion, How I Became King of the Thrill Pill Cult. And that was that story that I originally told you
Oh,
where I
16.
yeah, where I was 16, I started this pill. By the time I was 18, we'd done, close to $1 billion in revenue. And it was like this
Mm.
wild time. Like I remember someone telling me that you've done $1 billion in revenue. And I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? Like I was worried they were going to ask me how much a billion was. And I didn't know how much $1 billion actually was. And this was pre-internet. And I was like, somebody go find out how much it is. Right. And like, I
Yeah.
think it's 100 million. One guy's like, no, it's a British, got 1,000 billion. I was like, fuck. And then someone told me, look, dude, they're not going to ask you that. They want to know about what this drug is that you invented.
Right.
So it was a wild ride. That's called Billion, How I Became King of the Thrill Pill Cult. You can get it anywhere podcasts are found, or go on.
Yeah, and I'll put links to everything too. So there
Oh,
there will be
amazing. Cool. Yeah.
links.
Go on
Yeah.
ShaahinCheyene.com. Hack and Grow Rich
Yes.
is our main podcast. I co-host it with a guy named Bart Baggett, who's a great foundational success coach. And we bring people on to interview them. We're going to have Chris Voss, the FBI negotiator, Nolan
Oh.
Bushnell, the founder of Atari. We've got all kinds of great guests on. And
Oh, no way.
yeah, and we talk about, what it means to be able to hack every aspect of your life to
Mm.
achieve what Richard Koch calls this unreasonable success, and how you can get there. And we've got people who've done it, and we show you step by step how to do that. So that's really cool. That's Hack and Grow Rich. Again, you can just go on
Yeah.
the show links or ShaahinCheyene.com and do that. And for any of your viewers, if you're interested in selling on Amazon, I have an absolutely free, no obligation 1-hour course. It's a crash course that'll tell you everything, like how we could see sales of other
Yeah.
sellers, everything from beginning to end. And it's all you need. You don't need to spend any money on it. And I'm
Wow.
happy to share that. If anybody
That's
wants to reach out to me,
yeah.
yeah, I'll share my email with you, and they can email. I return all emails directly myself. It sometimes takes me a minute to get back to everybody, but we'll
Oh,
get.
Shaahin, that's amazing. Honestly, it's really, really appreciated. And I think a lot of the people that follow me and that will be watching will really appreciate it because there are a lot of brands and a lot of startups. I know I get a lot of questions from them, and I think that's these are the answers they're looking for. So by you being able to provide insight like this is absolutely incredible. I really do appreciate it. I'll put all the links to everything that you did mention. Is there anywhere else that anyone should look for you if they are trying to find you?
No, that's it. If
Mhm.
they want to, they can just,
Okay,
like I said, fire off an email to me. My email's on
perfect.
my website, ShaahinCheyene.com, or you can, for the course, you can go to FBAsellercourse.com,
Perfect.
and we respond to all messages. Don, if people want to get a hold of you, how do they find you?
Yes, I am available everywhere at Dawn Del Russo on all social media. My YouTube channel is at Dawn Del Russo and DawnDelRusso.com. So try to keep it simple and easy. All my name.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, thank you for the opportunity and for
Thank
having
you
me on.
too.
Hopefully we can chat again.
Absolutely. I really loved it. Thank you so much, Shaheen. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.